many Europeans, it conjures an image of a leader who'd be less tough in negotiations with the Palestinians than would Mr. Netanyahu. But Mr. Lapid does not believe that Israel should have to divide Jerusalem with the Palestinians in a future peace deal. The core element of the two-state solution that the wider world continues to believe in. That Mr. Lapid is labelled a centrist perhaps shows you where the centre of gravity of Israeli opinion on such matters lies these days. His big ideas are about Israeli society, not Israeli diplomacy. He wants to end the special treatment enjoyed by ultra-Orthodox Jews who are exempt from military service and who often choose to devote their lives to studying scripture on welfare rather than working and paying tax. The problem for Mr. Netanyahu is that he might need the support both of Mr. Lapid and of those parties who represent those ultra-Orthodox communities and who fiercely defend their privileges. That's what happens when you don't get as many seats as you hope for yourself and have to cast about for partners and build improbable alliances. There was a time when headline writers sometimes referred to Benjamin Netanyahu as King Bibi, conjuring the image of a colossus astride the world of modern Israeli politics. In fact, his electoral record is rather patchier than that would suggest. His critics sniff that he's a tactician, not a strategist, a broker of deals more than a weaver of visions. He will need all those tactical skills to create a stable government out of the rather weak hand that Israeli voters have now dealt him.
Kevin Connolly in Israel. Next, to Romania, a country that's certainly seen its rulers come and go, from the Romans to the Ottomans and the Austro-Hungarians. In 1989, it overthrew the communist system and dictator Nicolae Ceausescu in a bloody revolt. And since 2007, it's been a member of the EU. Quite a lot of layers of change then. And in the capital, novelist Will Self sees this reflected in a mishmash of architectural styles. But he wonders what Romanian people truly see as their own.
Eigener Herd ist Golde wert. That was the slogan inscribed on a raised tile plaque on the white tiled surface of the 12-foot-high stove that loomed in the dark and dusty corner of the president of the Romanian Writers' Union's immense office. Loosely translated, this corresponds to the English sentiment, "There's no place like home." But during a brief sojourn in Bucharest, I felt there were few other cities I had ever visited quite so un-home-like. That evening, in a city centre that felt uncannily empty, considering that Bucharest is the most densely inhabited European capital, I ate dinner with my Romanian editor, Bogdan Stănescu. The legislative elections, postponed due to a stalemate that ensued when Mircea Joana, the president of the Senate, refused to step aside, were slated for the coming Sunday. It was difficult to detect much democratic enthusiasm emanating from the otherwise ebullient Bogdan. He spoke of Romanian politics as if they were a shadow play, behind which the real business of exercising power went on without the pesky need for a people's mandate. True, there had been demonstrations, some violent, as the government's draconian healthcare cuts began to bite. But by and large, or so Bogdan said, the protesters had been older people, veterans of the 1989 overthrow of the Ceausescu regime. He laughed bitterly at the idea of Romania joining the euro, and spoke of a friend who had qualified with an MBA from Harvard who, when she returned home and got a job, was asked by